So it's really difficult to top the lightning talk just before. Yeah, the burning duck thing. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to do a quick talk about reporting in Zabbix. May I ask you, whom of you is actually using his own custom reporting? Maybe you give a hand sign. Just a couple of you. And who is looking for custom reporting? Just a few as well. So maybe that is of interest for you. So the idea here is to do reports from Zabbix without using SQL-based additional report generator tools as we have seen today in the presentation from Alan. So yeah, what it comes down to us was we had customer requests for different sorts of information that they would like to have as a report. And those information was basically not only information about simple things like the count of a certain metric or value, but also combined information. Like, for example, what are the current issues that are longer than 1 day that nobody deals with it, or information that correlates in certain ways with each other. So you could not simply do a select on the database. You have to, create those metrics. And that is some examples of those matrices and how they could look like. And the other thing that we figured out was we need for different type of different information, different reports, of course. And what it came down to us is that usually you will have maybe a daily report, which is short, but the short report must not necessarily be the one that has been sent out daily. So there could be different requirements. The weekly report might be includes a summary of what happens during the week, and the monthly report might contain information just for archive purposes. So different requirements, but not necessarily that each time interval matches the report. At the end of the day, it comes down to what the receiver, the user, the management people, the operation people would like to have. So the third part of it was that we figured out that it might be that not only Zabbix or registered users on the Zabbix dashboard would like to gain reports, but maybe their managers or maybe others as well. So people that are not necessarily working with the dashboard itself, so are not Zabbix users. And also it might be that you set up security groups on Zabbix, and you would like to combine the information in reports covering more than one security group. So you would have to combine multiple Zabbix accounts to get a certain result. So that's why we made a separation and said, well, users that would like to get a report must not be necessarily Zabbix users, or need not to be necessarily Zabbix users. So that is the design. So what we see here is we have as a central point an API server. We are using an implementation that is running the REST protocol for historical reasons, and this API server does talk to the Zabbix server, of course, using the Zabbix API, and then an application server, in this case the reporting server, queries the API server to get the information and creates an HTML and PDF based report. That looks a little bit difficult. At the end of the day, it's not, because the REST resources we created are tailored down to the needs of the reports themselves. So I might be a little bit faster now. So this is a result of the system state call, for example. It gives a combined information about the system state. That is an PHP-based template where you just insert your HTML code, and then you have the widget as you would like it to look. This is how a widget would look like. One widget, for example, giving a system state by priority. We have a header for the PDF and a footer. This one is a list that's getting out of it, and this one is a short one that goes out to the management, maybe on a daily basis, via email, and shows there's an issue. It's red, as you can see, and this one is green, shows everything is fine. And now we come to the 10-second mark, which leads me to the last slide. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you a lot for your presentation. Again, I'm not a technical guy, but I saw without SQL. And I mean, SQL is easier for me to understand. Why not SQL?
Yeah, SQL. Why not SQL? So basically, we tried it with SQL and with report generators. So we did do it, and it worked quite out okay. But for example, to create our custom reports like the ones that I showed, we figured out it's much easier to create them in HTML, export them to PDF, and then provide them via email or save them on a website so you can look up the reports that you got. So it make it more flexible, and the infrastructure is much easier to maintain.
Can you schedule a report to be generated and sent through email, for example?
Yeah, we do actually send them via email out in HTML. So you just open the email and you see the one, like the last one that I showed here. This one is an excellent example for getting sent by email. Yeah, and for the longer ones, like where I made the screenshots from, then we attach them on top of them as a PDF to that email, and we save the output, so the HTML output as well as the PDF output, in a directory, so you can access it via the website on your customer account.
But
Great.
Can you set a specific time when you want this report to be generated or sent?
Yeah, you can do that. That is what I try to explain in the third slide, to say that the user makes the decision. So we have different report types. Like, for example, this daily one is just a status report, and the user selects the report and selects the interval. Like, do you like to get a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you would like to, and you select the format. Like, you would like to get it in PDF, in HTML, in both.
Thank you, Wolfgang.